What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider Interview Studio at Sundance 2025, brought to you by Rendezvous Capital. We are here, of course, supporting independent cinema, but also LA Wildfire Relief Live. It's an organization that's helping those impacted by the LA wildfires. So if you are able to donate, please head on over to lawildfirerelief.live. Thank you in advance. Now, I get to say huge congratulations to the team behind Opus. I already feel the obsession starting. I am so excited to watch this movie over and over and over again. Thank you for it.
You have a great voice for this. Like when when she was talking, you didn't go into gear and then you went into sport mode and you killed it. You killed it.
I love
mesmerizing,
the way you just described that. I'm not going to stop thinking about it now. Actually, I have to, because I have to start focusing on your movie. You're going to get one of my absolute favorite questions to ask about writing a screenplay, because I love the fact that there are so many curious ideas and themes you explore here. Can you tell me what idea number one was, the thing that started this all? But then also if you had a break story moment on the script, something you came up with that made it feel whole.
I'm really interested in us interrogating tribalism, and feels like an epidemic. It's not just an American epidemic, but and it's bigger than entertainment. So that was really like the why, the thing that I set out. And I'm a smart ass, so everything is fun and funny. And then your second question was
if you had a break story moment, something that made you think like this is a whole idea and it's ready to be turned into a feature film now.
I think I'm not just saying this because they're sitting next to me. Like, it was really more the people, I felt like I watched The Bear a couple weeks before it came out. I used to work at GQ and I got screeners, and I was like, holy shit, she's incredible. Sheeped. What's your name?
Liza Colonza.
You know what I mean? And so like that is so inspiring and exciting. And John, like watching all of his films before we met, that really felt like unlocked. I know you're asking about like in the story phase, but I literally just stopped writing it like 2 days before I turned it in the edit. And I feel like the things, I've been given such a wonderful gift to constantly be working on it and it moving, and then you have Murray and Juliette and Stephanie, and you meet them and they have an idea and that changes it. And I feel like at its best is when I'm with them.
I think that totally makes all the sense in the world when you have an ensemble that are all capable of making their characters feel uniquely their own, to the point that I know that like no other actor on the planet could have brought them to life the same way.
And push the story completely forward, yeah.
I wanted to follow up on the GQ element of your career, because I am obviously fascinated whenever I meet a filmmaker with a journalism background. Yeah. So I'm curious, what was it about your experience in that field that maybe signaled to you the lead character in this movie should be a journalist? And is there any aspects of like your own personal experience that we could see in her character? You know what? I used to say no. And then people, which is tough. But I used to like, no, this has nothing to do with me. I got to GQ, they were super supportive, whatever. But, and then I had people like Elvis Mitchell, who's known me for forever and knows so much about film. He's so smart. And then he just went through 50 things I had never thought of. And I felt naked. And so I think it's there. I think a lot of it is in the subtext. And again, Ayo's performance as the journalist, to me, I have a big imagination, but I think what she was able to do with Ariel, it just feels so full and so special to me. I'm so eager to highlight that.
Yeah, I can't look at that and be like, that was me. Like, I've never been that.
I'm willing to believe a lot of the movie is you, but I also do understand what's happening here, and that kind of praise is well-deserved across the board. To start to teeter into characters now, I'll go with Moretti first, but Mark Anthony, I'm going to ask you a question about that character first, because I was reading in our press notes, there's a point where you mentioned that you have 101 facts, half-truths, and rumors about Moretti. I know we hear some of them in the movie, but can you maybe share some right now that didn't make the finished cut, but like still informed who he was in the film?
Yeah, one that's kind of fun. So there's like a moment where Ariel, she hears all these they're talking about Bill Burr delivers this wonderful thing about Moretti and this thing he did, and so I had a lot of the weird things that he collects. One of them being Freddie Mercury's teeth, which is in the film, but then there was like a long list of other pop star big celebrities, Fabergé egg collection, and other creepy things, and that was cool. But again, I when I gave that to John and he read it, he really is a director's actor, and he's like, I'll read whatever you send, I'll watch whatever you send, and I could tell that he internalized the macro thought of it, which is, this is a human. John actually kind of lives like this, so he didn't have to reach that far, but this is a human being that is limitless, that knows no like border, boundary, whatever curiosity thing that he finds creative, interesting, his group of friends, the whole thing. So like the writing of it was great, but then when it got into his hands, it became real.
All right, John, I'm going to jump your way now. Did you have, I guess I'll call it an aha moment with this character? Something that like you did or came up with in prep that made you say like, I fully get who Moretti is now?
I don't know that I have those kind of moments. The way I look at my job, and most especially my job as a film actor, is you're a character, you're a figure in someone else's dream. So what you have to do is sort of get off yourself and start to look at that dream, and then start to analyze that dream. What is this? Why is it like that? Is it as fully like that as it should be? So when I get some material like this extra information, let's call it, about Moretti, that's very interesting, but the script is the thing, and that's what has to be communicated, and you have to try to analyze the dream in which you're a figure. That's really what you do.
So all of you now play characters who go to Moretti's estate. So I don't have to be like, who do you play? And tell me about them. I'm going to get at it this way. Can you each tell me what your character's greatest strength is? Something that will help them survive this whole situation, but I also want to know what their greatest weakness is, the thing that could do them in at his estate.
First, can I just say, 2 days ago, I was being a girl named Camille in another movie, not because my character in this one is forgettable. And she was so strong and so strongly written, but her greatest strength, I guess, is that she could convince herself of anything. I feel like she is a great actress. With a capital Tress. Just kidding. But yeah, I based her on, well, we talked about it, a blend of a couple tabloidy kind of gals. And so it was really fun to play a woman really put together, very assertive, and who's never going to show anything, which is also a weakness. Yeah.
It's pretty damn cool, I'll say, seeing you at this film festival with two films that are
Thank you.
so wildly different.
Thank you.
I heard,
More of that, please.
I heard they're
Extremely
renaming it Juliette Fest.
I'll attend
That's
that
what I
fest
heard.
every year.
I think that Emily's strength is that she's kind of in her own world, and like she's happy to be there, and like she understands like it's really important for her to be there, but she's kind of just like there for herself. And I think that's also her weakness, because she's completely, I think, maybe oblivious to anything that's going on because she's just a little self-involved.
Fair enough.
I think my character believes that he has a strong kind of allyship with power. So he's like, he'll be fine. And I think he has a really strong belief that he's important, and that he'll always be fine, because he believes he has powerful friends, and they'll always take care of him. He's like, he's going to be fine. He's like, he's the sort of master of his own game, he believes. And I think that's, also his great weakness, because, it's not necessarily the case. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I think she's like very like, I don't know, she just wants to be a good journalist. So I think that's how also like Ariel's like approaching this space, is like not so much as herself as a human being, but as a journalist. And so like she, I think, is very inquisitive and very conscious of others. But also I think that sort of like consciousness of others is I guess in a way a weakness. Everybody's sort of doing the same thing.
That's always, but it is always a double-edged sword.
But it is, and I think it's like she in like emotionally, I think low emotional points are where she's like, nobody believes me or nobody sees me. But then also it's like, spoiler. I can spoil.
No,
I won't spoil.
I thought you were going to ask
Never
if you
mind.
can curse, which a lot of people have been checking with.
Never mind. We will. This is live. This is a live
That time
benefit.
will come. That time will come. I promise you that. No spoilers just yet.
Anyway, see the movie. Ask me what the end of this sentence was going to be. We'll talk about it then.
I do have a really big question for you based on something Mark Anthony said in the
World
notes. And
peace.
I'll also just emphasize, like, you're friggin' phenomenal in this movie. I mean, obviously you have an Emmy to your name and so many other accomplishments, but
Bought that.
like,
Bought the rest.
The coolest thing ever for me was like walking out of this movie being like, movie star. You're an excellent anchor for the film. So the thing that you were talking about is how good she is at keeping her character grounded. And you said the more nuance you get with a character, the harder it is to land that plane. Luckily, I got to do that with Ayo, who can land anything. So I'm curious, from your perspective, was there a single moment in this movie that like was toughest for you to like land or find like the pitch perfect tone for?
All of it. I don't know. I never feel confident in anything I do ever. No, but I think the moments where it was like with the group, like because I think I just was thinking of Ariel's like headspace and kind of like insecurity, but trying to like project security or any of, I don't know. Now I'm just like, any of the stuff where you guys were all hanging out in the room drinking and then Ariel's like, what's up? I missed the invite. No, I don't know. But I definitely think like we talked a lot about like horror movies that we, and thrillers and like different, movies like that Mark sent me to watch or that we just enjoyed growing up. And I think especially as Black people, you watch those movies a lot of the time and you're like, leave, go away. I mean, like, obviously Get Out is such like one that you think of, but even where, I don't know, you're just watching the movie and you're like, girl, turn around, like just as simple as that. And so I think we would have a lot of conversations about like, believability and like also if this girl is a journalist, and I think it helps that she is a bit green, but she still is a journalist, she still is inquisitive. Like, where are those questions leading her? Where are they not? Then where does that play when it's like everybody around you is sort of, more experienced or, they're like, haven't you been to a celebrity's compound? And you're like, no, I haven't. So I don't know if this is really crazy or if this is sort of like how it goes. So yeah, those planes, helicopters, various airborne vehicles felt sometimes
you landed them all.
tricky.
I mean that sincerely. It breaks my heart that I'm going to have to wrap with you, but I promise I'm going to cover the crap out of your movie and not stop talking about it. But I did want to ask this particular question for you, Mark Anthony, before we have to wrap up, because it's another thing you said in your director's statement, and it's just something that like hit home for me because it's a word you apply to your movie. It's a word that I love to apply to like my reviews of movies, but it's one that's kind of like acquired a negative connotation. It's the word fun. Yeah. When I read that, I'm like, yes, like same wavelength. Why was it important for you for this movie to, serve other purposes, but also like at its core, be fun?
I think there has to be way more honey with the medicine. I think the ratio is a little off right now. And that's something that we all talked about. That's something that, like, again, I can't stress this enough with every person that's sitting to my right, striking a balance of both believability when it's time for you to be afraid all of the things, but it's so visually wonderful seeing them do the thing that they're doing. It is, you could, whatever. And in the moments where there are actual jokes, nothing has made me feel like a better writer than to have such talented people like deliver. I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm like, and it's not me, but I'll take it. So I don't know. We really, really want people to have a conversation at the end of this film. And the more you have fun throughout that process, the more of a ride it feels. I think the better the chance we have that people have this conversation, and that's our sincere hope.
I have a good feeling it's going to have that effect on a lot of people. And just because I haven't said it, feature debut, just like hugely impressive accomplishment right here. Congratulations to everybody here. Thank you for coming by and talking Opus with us.